We're taking you into the news right now with the Fox 45 news feed. It is 11 a.m. and President Joe Biden making it official, announcing that he will run for re-election. It's setting the stage for a possible rematch of the 2020 election. And topping your local news, we're taking a closer look at crime in Baltimore County after a 17-year-old is shot and killed, how the community is reacting. And right now, the mayor is touting success in the city's crime fight. We'll take you into that live announcement and listen in on the progress he says the city's made this past year. Fox 45 News Midday starts right now.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News Midday.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Fox 45 News Midday. I'm Taylor Stewart. We're starting off here with breaking news. Singer-actor Harry Belafonte died at the age of 97. His publicist making this announcement this morning, he said it was due to a heart failure. You may know his song Deo and the Banana Boat song and Jump in the Line. Now, local here, getting to breaking news. The mayor is making a major announcement as we speak, laying out what he calls progress in the city's fight against crime. This is a live look right now where the mayor and local leaders are giving a one-year update on Baltimore's community violence intervention program. Let's listen in.
And this group has been charged with providing high-quality guidance to my administration as we continue to develop, implement, and scale this ecosystem. We have made a lot of progress, but I want to be very clear. There is much, much more progress to be made, and the only way that we can do that is together. Curing Baltimore's violence is my top responsibility and priority as mayor, and I look forward to continuing to invest in these partnerships and this ecosystem that is helping us build safer neighborhoods today, but also will help us achieve sustainable reductions in violence over time. And with that, I'll turn it over to Director Jackson.
All right, stay with Fox 45 News for continuing coverage of the mayor's community violence intervention plan. We're going to bring you a closer look at the program and the progress. That's coming up on Fox 45 News at 4 o'clock. Now, as the mayor and city leaders talk about reducing crime, city police are now investigating yet another shooting involving a young person. A 19-year-old was shot and wounded last night in West Baltimore near the Parkview Recreation Center. Now, to date this year in Baltimore, nearly 36 juveniles have been shot and wounded. Another 9 have been shot and killed. Now, as we see more young victims falling victim to the city's crime crisis, we're taking a closer look at the Department of Juvenile Services. It's where juvenile offenders, by law, are supposed to be held accountable and get the services they need. But as Olivia Dance shows us, a new report from the Attorney General's office shows few services are truly being offered.
The Attorney General's report found problems throughout many DJS facilities, including right here at the Baltimore City Juvenile Justice Center. Now, the 100-page report highlights problems such as increasing daily populations, lack of educational opportunities, substandard safety staffing plans, inadequate programming, and more. The report specifically says the Juvenile Justice Center here in Baltimore City, quote, continues to operate as a prison-like environment, and staff are ill-equipped to provide the level of care needed to keep youth stable, and that persistent boredom is found to be a serious concern. The report found that at almost every single DJS facility, there is a lack of educational opportunities, all while the juvenile violent crime trend continues to rise. Now, Jeremy Eldridge, a former prosecutor turned defense attorney, says that's part of the boredom problem.
Whether you're talking about juveniles gathering at the harbor or you're talking about juvenile boredom leading to assaults at a detention center, what you're talking about is the same. It's the same issue. And the issue is that we as adults are not providing programming. We're not providing rec centers. We're not keeping these kids busy in a way that keeps them out of trouble. And that is our responsibility along with their parents.
Vincent Schiraldi, the new DJS secretary, says the agency is very troubled by the findings and is committed to having the best juvenile facilities in the country. For now, reporting in Baltimore, I'm Olivia Dance, Fox 45 News, Midday.
We want to hear from you. Do you have confidence in city leaders to get crime under control this summer? Now, so far, voters say no, 97% of them at least. You can go to Fox Baltimore right now and weigh in. All right, here's a look at today's top trending stories. Trending number one, a $2 million grant set aside to help develop the space left vacant. It's also called the Road to Nowhere in West Baltimore. Construction on the highway began 50 years ago, and it was supposed to connect suburbs to downtown. But it led to more than businesses and homes all being demolished, leaving 1,500 residents displaced. The project was ultimately shut down. Trending number two, mark your calendar. The Metro will be closed the weekend of May 5th. It is a new communication system that's going to be installed. During that installation process, all Metro stations will be closed Friday, May 5th at 6 p.m., and they won't reopen again until Monday morning at 5. A bus bridge is going to operate between all Metro subway stations every 30 minutes during regular service hours. Trending number three, Governor Wes Moore signs another round of bills. The legislation he signed covered several of his key promises on the campaign trail, including his new Department of Service and Civic Innovation aimed at improving volunteering, and as well as the upcoming budget for the 2024 year. Trending number four, University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore is getting some help to celebrate its 200th birthday. The University of Maryland mascot, Testudo, spent some of his time with staff and patients. He also made a stop at the University of Maryland's Children's Hospital, which is celebrating its 75th year. Go ahead and download that FOX45 News app for your breaking news, up-to-the-minute coverage, traffic, weather, anytime. Just search WBFF in your app store. Still ahead, they can add a nice ambiance to your home, but could scented candles be doing more harm than good? We'll take a closer look at the new clean living trend and what experts are saying about it. And you are a workaholic and you may feel like you live in the office. Well, depending on the city you live in, there could be some transforming empty office buildings into houses. And topping your vote 2022-2024 coverage, President Joe Biden is making it official. We're going to take a look at his pitch to voters as he seeks a second term.
Hour-by-hour forecast numbers into the upper 50s over the next few hours and into the lower 60s for this afternoon. Still about 7 degrees below average for this time of year, but overall a pretty nice spring day with plenty of sunshine and not as much wind. We'll top out at 63 today. Overnight lows drop into the upper 40s, so not as cold for us tonight. And then we'll be in the mid to upper 60s on Wednesday, even though it does come with some rain showers as well. We'll break down that future scan, let you know about the rain on Wednesday as well as that rain that's on the way for the weekend. That's coming up.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
Making headlines, the Justice Department is joining a federal investigation into Southwest Airlines' Christmas travel meltdown. The Department of Transportation says it's working with the Justice Department to see if Southwest's flight schedule was actually realistic in the first place. You'll recall that over Christmas, the airline canceled more than 16,000 flights, leaving frustrated passengers stuck at airports and away from their families during the holiday.
What are we supposed to do? It's ridiculous. It's lies. They can't even give us a direct answer.
Investigators are now trying to determine if Southwest could have avoided the meltdown and if the airline provided the required timely refunds and reimbursements. Former Minnesota police officer who shot and killed Dante Wright is out of prison. Kimberly Potter served just 16 months of her 2-year sentence. She killed the 20-year-old unarmed black man during a 2021 traffic stop. She claims she mistook her gun for a taser. Let's take a look here at your social stream right now. A lot of folks are weighing in on President Joe Biden's announcement that he is running for re-election, releasing a short video telling voters he wants to finish the job.
The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election.
In that 3-minute video, the president goes after who he calls MAGA extremists and those threatening democracy. He says he wants to stand up and fight against those threatening the freedoms of Americans. Specifically, he mentions reproductive rights, voting rights, and civil rights, saying he started the job 4 years ago and will finish it with another term. The announcement sets up a possible rematch of the 2020 election bid against former President Donald Trump. All right, we're checking out some tweets here on the social stream. Christy here tweeting, I much prefer Biden over Trump, but I don't think he should be running for re-election. Ford, meanwhile, saying this. Let's see what he... Well, Ford, meanwhile, is saying it's unreal for 333 million people to get here, and we can't get someone else to run. Shaking my head. So split, obviously a polarizing election just ahead. Well, California's governor is deploying the National Guard and Highway Patrol to try and combat San Francisco's worsening fentanyl crisis. The two agencies will work with the San Francisco Police Department and District Attorney's Office. The partnership is going to focus on holding suppliers accountable. The governor's office says overdose deaths rose by 40% between January and March. Wow, let's take a look at some tweets here. Sean from California says California should have done this years ago. Another tweet here, go after the rings who are operating in broad daylight, distributing this drug in our former peaceful communities and city streets. Bust them now before it's too late. All right, let's get over to Bud Light's vice president of marketing, who is taking a leave of absence amid boycotts from angry customers. That's according to reports from Beer Business Daily and Ad Age. Some are boycotting the beer brand after it worked with a transgender influencer, Dylan Mulvaney. Now, some folks are saying, oh, it's fine, they'll stick to Miller Lite. Another person saying, this is shocking. Who would have thought that having a trans spokesperson for a redneck beer would backfire? All right, well, still ahead. There are new guidelines needed for mammogram screenings, why some doctors say black women should be getting the screenings earlier than white women.
A Baltimore County teen killed at a popular overly shopping center. Just ahead, I'll have the very latest in this investigation.
And coming up at noon, it's Karamu, then at 1, Sherry, followed by the hot bench at 2 o'clock. All right, we are back with a live look over the Inner Harbor. After a cold start to your morning, things are starting to warm up. Stick around in 15 minutes. Meteorologist Justin Chambers is going to show us how warm things will get and when we need to crack out the umbrella. Now to counties under pressure. The Baltimore community is remembering the 17-year-old high school student who was shot and killed on Sunday.
It's really frightening. It's scary because you don't expect that.
It's hard to hear about. It's just crazy, just the amount of gun violence that is happening. You never know when it's going to stop.
Police are now identifying the 17-year-old as Elias Kilsack. As Shannon Lilly tells us, he was a 12th grader at Parkville High School. Take a look.
Well, as far as we know, any suspects in this deadly shooting are still out on the streets this morning. And when it comes to why this happened in the first place, a motive, police are still investigating, and that is still unknown. What we do know, though, is that this is just the latest young life to be lost as we continue to see more and more teens losing their lives to gun violence, both here in the city as well as in the county. And this is a trend that newly confirmed Baltimore County Police Chief Robert McCullough is acknowledging. Listen.
We realize, and we've seen over the years, an increase in juvenile crime. What we see is a lot of local neighborhood crews of kids that run together, and they tend to commit crime together.
This most recent youth shooting death, though, happening Sunday night when the back alley of this popular Overly shopping center turned into a crime scene. 17-year-old Elias Cheslack was killed. Police were called to the intersection of Bel Air Road and Roseville Boulevard around 9:45 Sunday night for reports of this shooting. And when they got here, they found Cheslack shot once in the upper body. They rushed him to the hospital where he died. And now people in this area are just on edge.
It's just crazy, just the amount of gun violence that is happening. You never know when it's going to stop.
And again, Cheslack was just in the 12th grade at Parkville High School. We know that the school is offering mental health resources, counseling for students and staff. In the meantime, if you have any information about this shooting or possible suspects, you are urged to call police. Reporting this morning, I'm Shannon Lilly, Fox 45 News, Midday.
All right, coming up at Fox 45 News at 4, Mayor Brandon Scott giving a one-year update on violence intervention in Baltimore. We're going to have coverage on the mayor's remarks as violence in the city continues. And controversy at a Laurel racetrack as horse racing remains shut down. Takeaways from Maryland's Racing Commission's emergency session that happened today. And the Maryland State Fair is announcing its music lineup. Who's going to take the stage in Timonium this summer? We'll tell you just ahead. And of course, you can get that Fox 45 News in a flash through your Amazon Alexa or your Echo. We deliver your local headlines and your forecasts in less than 2 minutes. If you have an Amazon device, all you have to do is tell it to enable Fox 45 Baltimore. Trending today, if you feel like you practically live at work, well, you can, actually. A changing landscape in how and where people work is prompting some cities to convert empty office buildings into housing. Data shows office vacancy rates in San Francisco, Houston, Philadelphia, and D.C. are some of the highest in the country, coming between roughly 20 and 30%. All right, Mark Clark with Be More Lifestyle. I feel like I live at work anyways, but what are your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, I'm not an economics expert, but they're saying that, that basically these spaces have to be filled, and a lot of the brick and mortar businesses aren't there, so they're making it, making them apartments or condos or homes.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, to kind of fill the space because, so would you live in a hot place like downtown or a cool place, Of
course, but I'd much rather, if I'm going to live at work, I'd rather just pull up a cot and, really live at work. You know what I mean?
Well, I actually do live. I sleep at my desk many nights. But
yeah, no, I get it. Me too. Early morning. But all right, we'll have Mark up in a minute next day for midday here. But we have a cooler day today than we saw yesterday. Nothing like those snowy conditions, though. Meteorologist Justin Chambers is showing us in Michigan.
Well, this gentleman says, make it stop. This is in Michigan, and you can see that this is the table with the date on there, and still dealing with winter. Yeah, I know we had some cold temperatures over the last couple of mornings, but nothing like that, and we're not dealing with any snow. Probably had more pollen accumulate than actual snowfall this year, and that pollen continues to be the issue out there with the allergy season in full swing. Next hour will be in the upper 50s, on to the lower 60s as we take you into that 1 and 2 o'clock hour for the afternoon. 70 is typically where we are this time of year. That's that 30-year average, but we're going to be about 7 degrees cooler than that. So overall, a mild afternoon with less wind. 7:54 is when that sun goes to bed. Those daylight hours continue to get longer, and you're seeing that sun up for a longer amount of time, getting more fun stuff in the afternoon when you have temps that aren't too bad. Upper 50s and lower 60s across Carroll and Baltimore counties for your highs today. Numbers in Howard and Anne Arundel counties also in the lower 60s for Ellicott City and Columbia down through Elkridge. Glen Burnie, Pasadena right about 63, 62 in Annapolis for your high this afternoon. Up and down the 95 corridor, we're keeping those 60s going for New York and Philly, down through Baltimore and D.C. Upper 50s down the ocean today. Heading out to the ballpark tonight. First pitch 6:35 at Camden Yards as the Sox are in town. Game 2 of that series against the O's, and the O's continue their winning ways. So hopefully keeping that streak alive. Should be about 60 degrees to that first pitch, and numbers will drop throughout the game, especially after the sun goes down. So just bring a light pullover or a sweatshirt. So temperatures staying below average over the next couple of days. Our next chance for rain comes on Wednesday afternoon. A few showers Wednesday, more of that rain and heavy rain at times possibly on Friday, and then another round of rain Sunday, which could bring some thunderstorms as well.
And still ahead, if you ever got sick with COVID, did you notice your dog acting any differently? Well, still ahead, a new study that reveals animals are actually pretty good at telling when somebody's sick. And what counts as middle class these days? Well, it depends on where you live and how far your dollar will go in Maryland compared to other states. And a big night ahead on TV after Fox 45, first at 8 rather, at 911 Lone Star, then at 9 an all-new Accused. And keep watching for Fox 45 News at 10 and Fox 45 News Late Edition. All right, do not miss this. When it comes to money, what counts as middle class? Well, it depends a lot on where you live due to the cost of living. Money goes way further in some places compared to others. So according to the census data, if you live in Fremont, California, you need to make $104,000 just to be considered on the low end of middle class. Well, on the flip side, if you live in Cleveland, Ohio, you would need to earn $23,000 to be middle class. Well, Maryland, D.C., New Hampshire had the wealthiest middle class residents. Take a look at this. Here at home, a two-person family would need to make between $60,000 to $180,000 just to be middle class. A three-person family, $70,000 to $210,000. And a four-person family would need to make somewhere between $83,000 a year to $250,000. We're also looking at a new report that's finding screening guidelines for breast cancer need to be updated. More than 43,000 women die from cancer each year, and black women have a 40% higher breast cancer death rate than white women. The disparity is prompting doctors to call for a study to see if a change in screening guidelines could help. And a new study finds that dogs are pretty good at knowing when a person is sick with COVID. Researchers in California trained 2 dogs to sniff out the virus. In tests at schools, the dogs detected 85 infections and ruled out more than 3,400 others. According to researchers, the animals could be a good, non-invasive way to prevent the virus. Well, who knew? We knew that years ago. Well, time now for your lunch break. In a major course change, Twitter is bringing back free blue check marks for some people. Friday, the company started purging the checks from the site, those not paying that $8 a month subscription fee. But now it appears Twitter is reviving some legacy accounts, including ones that belong to dead celebrities like Michael Jackson and Kobe Bryant. Well, that's all we have here today for Fox 45 News Midday. Be More Lifestyle is up next.
All right, so let's see. Junk food is getting a makeover. Now look, to make it more healthy. What? Yes, Pepsi's making changes to some of its snacks and soda. We'll talk all about it on Be More Lifestyle next.
You're watching Fox 45 in Baltimore. Now live from TV Hill, this is Be More Lifestyle.
What's up, Baltimore? I'm Mark Clark, and this is Be More Lifestyle live from Studio A at Fox Baltimore. Lady T is here.
Hey.
Along with Persia Nicole from 92Q. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let me tell you right now, junk food is getting a makeover to, dare say, become more healthy. The Wall Street Journal reports PepsiCo is overhauling its soda and chips so they contain less saturated fat, sugar, and sodium. The Wall Street Journal reports the report says the company will slowly start making changes so you won't taste an immediate change. Instead, it will be a slower change over time. So they're going to kill us less slowly.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what I heard.
He's going in.
That's what I heard.
Okay, Persia Nicole, what is your favorite chip? Go.
I love Cheetos, the crunchy kind, not the soft kind. I like the crunch.
Yeah, I heard that. That's what the streets were saying. Lady T, what's your favorite soda?
So my favorite chip, I have to say, Sun Chips. I love Sun Chips, of course, but also Fritos, like how they showed. I'm a Frito addict. No one eats that when they get that big deluxe box from Costco, but it's my favorite chip. Okay, I love me some Fritos. It's the corn chips, the one that really make your breath smell so bad.
Chili.
Yeah, it's the Fritos. It makes your breath smell. It makes you smell like, I don't know, like vinegar and corn, and like you smell like you ain't come out the house in a couple weeks, but it is so good. I love it. I'm an addict. So yeah.
Lady T, I knew you'd love the Sun Chips.
You know I love my Sun Chips, man, all right?
Okay, that sounded Irish. She may have written a famous song called Fancy, but it turns out country music star Reba McEntire isn't too fancy to use solo cups. In fact, the singer, who is worth an estimated $95 million, says she only uses them but reuses them. She says growing up, her family would use solo cups at Thanksgiving dinner because everybody could just write their name on the cup. She says her grandmother would wash the cups and then save them.
Come on.
Look, y'all, Reba is black, y'all. Reba is black.
They would wash the paper plates. They wash the paper plates and fold them into bowls.
Listen.
Okay, Reba.
She's got it.
Persia Nicole, what's your best struggle story coming up?
Not recycling solo cups. Okay, we don't throw things away. Reba played way too much. Reba, but you know what? I'm never going to none of her cookouts because I don't know who done used that cup before me and how many times it was washed before I used it. So not that.
Lady T, did you have any struggles coming up? Did you use your paper cups?
Oh yes. Listen, Reba was probably raised in a Southern or Black household because baby, okay, my family definitely does this. Okay, we will reuse them solo cups. Also, solo cups are the party central cups, okay, like turn up. Okay. Those are turn up cups, okay. But no, I loved Reba before, but I think I love her even more now knowing this information about her with these solo cups. So yes, sis, go ahead, boo. Same here.
I'm going to take that turn up cup. I'm going to go ahead and copyright that now. We want you to tell it. Would you wash and reuse a solo cup? Vote on our website, foxbaltimore.com/vote. And when you get to the website, make sure you click on the Lifestyle tab. You can also vote on our Fox 45 News app. And at the end of the show, you know how we do it every day. We'll find out what you think. Now, they can add a nice ambiance to your home, but could scented candles be doing more harm than good? In a new clean living trend, some are shying away from candles, saying they release toxic particles into your home. But a 2014 study found candles release such small amounts is not really a healthy risk. The biggest concern is the open flame and risk of fire. My family would say, I release toxic things into this. So we need a candle in the basement.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying.
That's funny.
Persia Nicole.
Yeah, I'm very sad, and I'm just not going to read any of the fine print because I was at Home Goods yesterday. I bought 10 candles, and I'm going to burn all 10 of them. So I'm so sorry. I can't, I don't know. I'm going to have to pollute the air in my house because it's going to be burned.
Lady T, will you take the risk for a good smelling room?
Listen, okay, so I don't get to go buy candles like everybody else does, but y'all, I do love when my sister goes and gets that 10 for 10 candles from Yankee Candles. Shout out to them. And when you get the on sale candles, why don't smell even better? I feel like they say everything is toxic. Honestly, I feel like it actually rebukes the toxic energy in the home. I feel like that's what candles do. So shout out. I don't know. This survey, I mean, it might have to be for the birds. I can't agree.
Once again, Lady T using scientific evidence. That's right. The candle
rebukes. I use toxic evidence is what I do.
In the name of Jesus.
The candle is rebuking the evil spirits.
It's rebuking the evil spirits and the evil people in your life. Okay, baby. Look, that's a snap. Snaps right there. Okay.
When the ghosts start coughing, was that going to go? Okay. Lady T, thank you so much. Persia Nicole, thank you again. We love you. Enjoy you at 92Q. Still ahead, when a loved one is diagnosed with cancer, it can be scary and it can be very frightening, but there's also help. An alternative treatment coming up. We'll tell you about that, okay? And coming up also, making better, smart choices when it comes to foods we eat, how a new kitchen tool is helping you transform your favorite foods into healthier versions of themselves. Stick around.
You're watching Be More Lifestyle.
Are you trying to live a healthier lifestyle but can't resist the allure of fried food? Well, Genevieve Gorder is here with a piece of kitchenware that lets you enjoy your favorites without the guilt with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
Everybody, I've got something to show you today that you're all very familiar with, but there's an extra twist. Now, we all love a good air fryer. It's quick. We avoid the oil, the calories, seriously, like 70% less calories. But as a designer, and I'm sure a lot of you share this with me, I think they're bulky, they're not so cute, and they take up way too much space on the counter. Okay, my rant is over. Needless to say, when the air roll showed up in the mail, I was doing a little dance. Let me tell you about this solution-based product that is going to solve all your bulky air fryer issues. It's called the Air Whirl Crisper, and it can turn any pan into an air fryer. So you just place this lid on any pan that you already have, and your food will be air fried in a fraction of the time. I used it the same day it arrived. Put the lid on, press the button, done. And then you're winning because you can put it all away in the drawer. The Air Whirl is so easy to use, battery operated. You can store it without any of those tangled wires. And the thermometer is right here in the front of the lid. So you always know what temperature you are cooking at, just like you would on any traditional air fryer. Right now on ASA Deals, we are offering an exclusive 33% off the Air Whirl Crisper. You guys take advantage of this deal because they're not going to last long. Go to asadeals.com.
This Be More Lifestyle segment is sponsored by the Maryland Proton Treatment Center.
Cancer treatment is a major undertaking that leaves a patient and their family with many tough decisions. Dr. Walk, professor of radiation oncology at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, joins us now to tell us more about cancer treatment options. Doctor, you specialize in treating pediatric patients, and recent studies show that cancer rates are on the rise in young people, particularly adolescent. Can you share those findings?
Yeah, so we now know that the cancer incidence in young adults and young patients are increasing for a variety of reasons, including a viral-mediated, what we call human papilloma virus, HPV-mediated tumors like the head and neck, the throat cancers, the cervical cancers. So yeah, it is definitely something that we are studying at this moment.
And can you share some of the recommendations for young people?
Yeah, so because there's so much to live for, and there's so many decades of life ahead of them, they are recommended by most groups to be at least be evaluated by proton therapy experts.
And what is proton therapy, and what are the benefits of proton treatment versus traditional radiation?
As venerable as X-ray, what we call X-ray therapy, the problem with regular traditional radiation is that it showers a low dose of radiation everywhere. Proton therapy works very differently. When you shoot proton therapy into a body, it goes to a certain distance and then it stops giving radiation. So it delivers far less radiation so they can save developing organs like the brain and multiple other organs, and also has a much lower, what we call a second malignancy rate, where radiation can cause a cancer down the road, and proton therapy can dramatically minimize that.
And what type of cancer does proton therapy treat?
Proton therapy treats all sorts of cancers, including pediatric brain tumors, head and neck tumors, base of skull, breast, going down to the GI, and even genitourinary tumors.
And Doc, as we wrap up, if someone has been diagnosed with cancer and wants to see if proton therapy is right for them, where can they go to? Where can they find more information?
They can find it on our website called Ask for Protons, or call us at the Maryland Proton Treatment Center at 410-369-5200. I'm speaking from the Proton Center right now, and we love our center.
Dr. Rock, thanks for joining us. Have a good day, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure. Still ahead, Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles is a married woman, the wedding photos that are going viral, and how the gymnast is hitting back at online trolls. And our two old flames getting back together. Lady Cheese gonna spill the hot piping tea about Ashanti and Nelly. Oh, coming up next. It's time to spill the tea. Lady T is in the building. What's up, Lady T?
Hey, fellow tea sippers. All right, let's talk. Ashanti and Nelly are sparking dating rumors. The singer and rapper were spotted together during fight night at the Gervonta Davis fight in Vegas. Baltimore's very own Gervonta. Congrats to him on that knockout win. My goodness, okay? Anyway, so Ashanti and Nelly were there. They were also spotted holding hands together before the fight. Then sat next to each other like they was together or something, okay? Now, they had previously dated off and on from 2003 to 2013. Now, this was not on my big old card for 2023 of like sporadic events that happened, but we could have another case of a circle back relationship just like J-Lo and Ben Affleck did, right? But Nelly, I need you to underlay, I need you to hurry up and put a ring on it, boo, because don't mess this up. You get a second chance, don't mess this up. I don't know. What do you think, Mark?
You're right. I think they might be the new Beyonce and Jay-Z.
They were one of my favorite couples.
Mark Clark and Allison Seymour. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Okay, yes. Oh, wait, that's a high bar to set. I like that.
Okay.
Hey, okay.
I tried it.
All right, up next, Shakira. When I say her name, I have to shimmy, or else, you gotta honor the queen, right? So Shakira will be honored with Billboard's 2023 Women of the Year Award at Billboard's first ever Latin Women in Music event and gala. She's being honored for her contributions to the music industry throughout her career and all of her philanthropy efforts. Billboard says she's the ultimate woman in music. Now, the celebration airs on May 7th, so congrats to her. Mark, what's your favorite Shakira song? What's the Shakira song that makes you go like this?
What's the thing? And to make it.
I don't know if that's.
Hips don't lie. Thank you.
I don't know if that's. I was like, what is?
Hips don't lie.
You know what? So singing is not in your career, and we're going to leave that right there with you, Mark Clark, okay?
Hips don't lie.
Yes, her hips do not lie, actually, okay? Up next, because the tea keeps pouring. All right, so the GOAT got hitched, y'all, okay? Olympic gymnast Simone Biles married NFL star Jonathan Owens in Texas on Saturday. So congrats are in order for them. But with the good news, of course, comes the haters. Critics were mad at her slick back ponytail that she wore for her wedding. They said it looked unkept and that she should have laid her edges. They came from my girl. Well, she fired back at her critics, saying, I live in Houston, so obviously I would have sweat out them edges anyway, okay? Mark, I actually liked her natural look. It fits her and her personality. It kind of, I don't know. If she did it any other way, I feel like it wouldn't have been her. But you know what? What if she wanted to do a somersault at the reception? What if she wanted to do a backhand flip or something at the reception? Congrats, sis. Like, slay your natural look. I thought it was beautiful.
That's right. I mean, what are you really? It's her happiest day, and you're gonna pick on her hair? Come on,
right?
Y'all.
They look so happy together. So they're living happily ever after, and we just shout out to them for that. Okay, whatever. Right. Yeah, fire back at them haters, girl. All right, that's it for the tea for today. Now y'all know what to do at home. Okay, y'all gotta go sip on all that tea.
I can't wait to get my new Sip on All That Tea t-shirt available next week from Lady T. Now, time for Best Weather in America. Meteorologist Justin Chambers joins us with a rare look at a total solar eclipse as seen from the moon.
Well, taking you to the moon right now, this is actually after the total solar eclipse, and this is the Earthrise from the moon shot. That's actually a really cool picture, and yeah, I definitely like seeing that kind of stuff with all those great satellites and spaceships and things out there. Slightly warmer temperatures as we head into the afternoon. We are tracking a few showers on Wednesday, and then more rain is on the way for the weekend. So we've got dry conditions for today and looking pretty good too. Next few hours, numbers in the upper 50s and lower 60s, still below average for this time of year, but we keep those lower 60s around here as we head into the day today. Some of us still only in the upper 50s for Westminster and Bel Air, 60 in Cockeysville and Hunt Valley, lower 60s for the Eastern Shore across the Bay Bridge to Annapolis. Even down in D.C., about 62 this afternoon, and north up to Philly at 62 as well, with 58 down the ocean for Ocean City. Not a bad evening for some baseball in Charm City at Camden Yards tonight as the O's take on the Red Sox again. First pitch, 60 degrees. At 6:35 p.m. And then those numbers will drop to the 50s as you head into the course of the game. Just bring a light pullover for sure. Numbers kind of hovering right below average over the next week or so. You can see that coolest day will be on Friday. Ridge of high pressure settling in for today. An area of low pressure slides by to the north tomorrow, but that's going to drag some showers through in the middle of the morning and then into the later part of the afternoon as well. Even though it will be warmer, we dry out nicely, on Thursday. And then our next weather maker, that's going to be another system coming in from the southwest. That'll roll through Friday morning. Will be with us for most of Friday afternoon into the evening time. Drier on Saturday, and then another system coming through on Sunday. That's going to bring showers, possibly even some thunderstorms by Sunday late afternoon, evening into early Monday morning. But overall, your 10-day forecast temperature staying in the 60s and 70s.
This Be More Lifestyle segment is sponsored by Shepherd Pratt.
During childhood, people with autism have access to a wide variety of services which they are entitled to by state law. Now, when these support systems end after graduation, it can feel like falling off a cliff. Dr. Tom Fliss joins us now to share tips for helping loved ones with autism transition successfully into the adult world. Dr. Fliss, welcome. How can change and transition be particularly difficult for young adults on the spectrum?
Yeah, there's really a number of factors here. When we think about routines, a number of individuals on the spectrum may rely on those routines. So when we think about early adulthood, which might mean transitioning into something such as college, for example, that introduces quite a drastic change. It can be quite distressing. Other factors include receiving services. As you mentioned, children and adolescents receive services through their schools, but once they reach adulthood, those services tend to drop off. Not to mention that there's not a lot of adult providers who specialize in autism as well. Those things can be challenging.
And when should families begin thinking about how to help their loved ones on the spectrum transition from adolescence to adulthood?
Yeah, we usually say that families should start planning for the future as soon as a diagnosis is received. Now, look, I know that can be quite overwhelming, but the key thing here is to start early. Like anyone else, children and adolescents on the spectrum are going to have their own specific set of needs. So finding out what those are might take a little bit of time. Some additional help might be needed for things such as money management, job interviews, vocational training, independent life skills, et cetera. The great news is that there's a lot of resources out there in Maryland, Pathfinders being a good one. Families and caregivers can look up resources that are close to one's home through that website.
And what does a strong support system look like for a young adult on the spectrum?
Yeah, again, we're looking for that smooth transition. Having a strong support system in place is certainly helpful, not only for the child or adolescent, but for the caregivers themselves. Fostering and nurturing those peer relationships early on so those supports are in place, teaching your child to advocate for themselves either directly or through that support system, and finding those therapists that do work with adults ahead of time if applicable.
And how can families help their children on the spectrum prepare for new environments?
Yeah, some of those things that they could do would be looking at the Pathfinders website. Again, Autism by Age checklist is a really good one. For those transitioning into adulthood, some of those things might be applying for a state ID or for Social Security insurance. Visual supports can help increase independence. So looking at written checklists or a desk calendar, again, any visual reminders that might help keep one organized. Introducing individuals to new environments, so college campuses, touring those campuses, going to those dorms, really immersing yourself in those environments before you move there. And updated testing at the Center for Autism at Shepherd Pratt. We do assessments that can identify those areas that might need additional supports.
As we wrap up, what resources does Shepherd Pratt offer to help families with loved ones on the spectrum navigate life's transitions?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, we have the Center for Autism, but we also offer a slew of other services, including schools, therapy, residential services, vocational training, and much more. Families can go to our website at www.shepherdpratt.org to learn about all these things that Shepherd Pratt offers, especially during those transitions.
Thanks so much for this great information, okay?
Yep, thanks for having me.
Definitely. Still ahead, they may be sold as single use, but that's not how everyone uses them. Coming up, what you're saying about washing and reusing solo cups. She may have written a famous song called Fancy, but it turns out country music star Reba McEntire isn't too fancy to use solo cups. In fact, the singer, who is worth an estimated $95 million, says she not only uses them, but reuses them. She says growing up, her family would use solo cups at Thanksgiving dinner because everybody could just write their name on the cup. She says her grandmother would wash the cups and save them for the next year. What? We wanted you to tell it. Would you wash and reuse a solo cup? Right now, most of you are already saying, I do. Yes, correct. I do. We got a great show lined up for tomorrow. A woman's asking for advice after being ghosted by a date, but this didn't happen after just a few dates. The woman says she'd been dating a guy for 8 months. We'll be chatting about dating etiquette coming up on tomorrow's all-new show.
Find out how to have your business featured on Be More Lifestyle. Email us at BeMoreLifestyleTV@foxbaltimore.com.
Again, we want to say thank you for inviting us into your home. We don't take it for granted. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, with or without the check marks, all that. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.